What's up, my friends? Dimion Movement here. Today I'm going to review Ben Patrick, Kneesovertoesguy, and his program. I did the original program, Knee Ability Zero. Then I moved a little bit into the standards program and also the learning how to dunk program. So when I came into the program, I was recovering from an old knee injury that happened about 6 years ago. I had no pain in my knees at the time, but I didn't have that same springiness and I didn't have that same feeling of muscle activation that I was looking for. So the first thing that I really fell in love with the program was that it was intelligently designed to build strength from the ground up. So I had done some tibia strengthening just by holding my leg straight and dorsiflexing. That means pulling my ankle back. And I would do that for stretching my hamstrings, and I would notice the muscles on the front of my shin would feel like they were engaged. And I always thought that gave me great ankle mobility that would be helpful for things like running or squatting, etc. But I never did something for reps that strengthened the anterior tibialis, which is the decelerators. So these are the brakes whenever you want to stop. Those are the muscles that are going to help you to stop the most. So doing these exercises where when I would start, I would be here, and then I could make it more challenging by having my legs go further away from the wall. The other thing for me is just making sure that my shoulders are relaxed, my head is all the way back against the wall, and my breathing is regular while I'm doing that tibialis work was huge. And starting to build my tibia muscles, it feels really good. There's a certain feeling of safety that your nervous system gets when you build strength. And in particular muscles, this can work really well. The second exercise that it would be paired with is the calf raises, the extension of the ankle. Now, I used to do my calf work every once in a while where I would do 60 raises with the feet facing straight ahead, 60 raises with the toes turned out, 60 raises with the toes turned in through a postural alignment exercise program called a Gascu that I used to do. Now, this also strengthens your calves in a very well-rounded way, but it takes a long time because you're doing 180 repetitions and then you start to feel that burn. Now, with this, you can get the burn in 15 reps or even 10 if you do it right. So we're able to increase the intensity just by how far your legs go away from the wall. And this is so simple yet genius because I never thought of it and I've never seen anyone else doing it. So, this can be easy for some or hard for others. But if it's easy for you, you just go out further. And eventually you can go out nice and far and then you can have single leg. And if it's still easy, you're cheating. You're not going all the way up, and he asks you to put more pressure on your big toe. Make sure you get a full range of motion. Make sure your heel goes all the way down and it touches the ground each time. Don't use too much momentum and keep your leg completely straight. So doing those for 2 sets, 25 each, was having my lower legs feeling brand new, and it was feeling like the muscle was really starting to build in my lower legs, which was a great feeling for someone recovering from knee pain, recovering from an old knee injury. Because when you recover from injuries, your nervous system can shut off your ability to fire muscles as a protective mechanism. So for me, rebuilding the firing of those muscles was really great for increasing my athletic potential and overall health. The second point is that I'm just going to pair the next 2 exercises together. I'm kind of skipping one, but you can sign up for the program to figure out which that one is. Now, the next 2 exercises have this similar theme in mind, and this is called strength through length. And the Knee Ability Zero program does a great job at stretching your quads and your hip flexors, which can prevent and reduce pain in your knees. So the first one is a step down. Now, most people know the step down to be something like this, where you're just kind of stepping down, but look where my chest is. Now look at the position of my hip. If my shoulder is right above my hip, I'm in hip flexion. These muscles are shortened. But what happens when I lean back? Now these muscles are lengthened. So learning this move, very simple, but I'm leaning back and learning that it's okay for my heel to lift. It gives me a little bit of an extra lean back. Now getting that lean back gives me that stretch to my hip flexor, gives me that stretch to my quad, but while it's being stretched, it's also being strengthened. So I'm reducing pain, but I'm increasing that elasticity feeling, that bouncy feeling. Now you get the same thing here, which is great for your posture. Just learning how to do this movement where coming forward, coming forward, coming forward. The focus on the front knee is when you get a full knee bend under stress, you actually get hypertrophy of the tendon. So you can grow thicker, stronger tendons by getting a nice deep bend. And the second part is this back leg. Here, what you're doing is, this is getting stretched. Now normally I would have this micro bend. Sometimes I'm still not fully straight, but I'll notice that when I go to straighten out there, I'm getting the same thing, strength through length. I'm contracting the quad, but it's also being stretched. What I've noticed through this program is that by stretching my quads and hip flexors, my back usually feels really good. So it's the knee ability zero, but it also has a great effect on the back. Hip flexor strength, the L-sit is still brutal. I don't need to demonstrate that right now. My time is not super high on that. And there's a really amazing hip stretch at the end that you're gonna get if you do decide to do this program. So those are all the pros that I've named. I love the program. I'm still doing it after a year. It's not the only thing I do, but I still try to do it 2 to 3 days a week. My wife is pregnant and she is still maintaining it. I think she did a lot of it today. But as a parent being busy, one of the things is sometimes we don't even finish the program, but we'll do the first 5 moves and we still feel better than if we didn't do it at all. I'm just gonna say cons, if any. I would say the only cons is it's not a lot of rotation work and it's not a lot of different ranges of motion. So I'm used to doing, like in a Goscu, I would do these, but I would do 40 repetitions and then 40 repetitions and then point flex, but circular work. And just stuff like with your other, like circles, rotations, different ranges of motion. A lot of the program is very linear, but even with that being said, the program still makes you feel good in an athletic way, but I would say if it's all you were doing, maybe you're missing a few ranges of motion. That might be the only con that I would say, but overall, I would rate this program super high, 4.5 out of 5. And that's it. So I hope you found this useful, and please comment below, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know the deal. Peace.